countless people treat money as if it were some complex, intricate science that is difficult to grasp, but it is not. Most people's approach is completely incorrect as they have a bad connotation with it. Most people grew up in families with deep negative associations with money and rich people. Hearing rich people are greedy or even money is the root of all evil, and even going so far as to call money the hand of the devil or whatever. But you must understand that money is a completely unbiased medium and nothing more than that. And that is why here in Usable Wisdom, we will be sharing with you how to utilize this very tool through the 7 new rules of money that will surely help you turn the odds in your favor. But before we proceed to that, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be updated whenever we upload new videos like this. And with that, let us continue with our list. Rule number 1. Money is the game. It is true that money is a game. This implies that money has rules, and if you follow them, you will advance in rank. In other words, if you follow money's rules, you'll make more of it. So all I need to do to make more money is follow the rules? You're probably thinking, yes, is the answer. To achieve a specific result, you must do certain things in a specific order. It is fundamental science. There is a formula for everything except experience, and experience can only be gained through failure. What I'm trying to say is that if you understand money, how it works, why it moves in certain ways, and the basic laws governing our financial system, you have no limits. Rule number 2. Cash is king. If there is one thing that people learn during financial crises, it is that cash is king and will always be king. People often talk about not maintaining any cash in the bank when times are good. People will tell you that it is collecting dust and losing value as a result of inflation. So, let me tell you that saving is far more important than investing, especially at the beginning of your financial journey. Too many young people have lost just because they gamble their money on investment schemes they don't even understand. When a disaster strikes, such as the coronavirus pandemic, you will require funds. It doesn't matter if you own a business or work in an office. You need some emergency funds you never touch except in the direst of circumstances. That's the kind of cash that can keep you from going bankrupt. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't invest, take risks, or participate in the game. The entire point is to do so cautiously. The emphasis is on having at least 3 to 12 months of expenses saved up. The vast majority of people do not have that kind of money. In reality, the majority of people live paycheck to paycheck, which means they're always a few weeks away from declaring bankruptcy. You must invest to double or triple your money. But first and foremost, you must be safe and have a roof over your head during a crisis. Rule number 3. Patience. Patience is essential for several reasons. First and foremost, if you are patient, you will most likely make more money. Let's say you're investing, and the company on which you've bet your money on is making a huge profit right now. If you're impatient, you'll sell your assets and cash in on your stocks. But should you? What if you waited a couple of years and made twice as much money as you would if you sold now? This obviously carries some risk. If you keep waiting, you could lose all of your money. But it all boils down to research and reasonable expectations. This is the case for regular day-to-day investors who do it as a hobby or as a side hustle. They're always complaining about selling too soon and how they could have made X amount of money if they had just held onto the assets for a couple of years longer. Secondly, the key to business success is patience. Money does not come easily. Rather, it must be earned rather than pursued. Investments are another way for money to make itself. Your new goal is to figure out how to double your money. Manage the risk and you'll be able to double your money every month or year. Warren Buffett, also known as the Oracle of Omaha and one of the greatest investors of all time, is a firm believer in the value of perseverance. He's one of those guys who accumulated wealth gradually through patience, analysis, and value-driven strategies. Rule number 4. Look where no one's looking. So, the coronavirus appears out of nowhere and kills some industries such as tourism and healthcare. As a result, the widely held belief is that they are not particularly good industries to consider when launching a new venture. Is that correct? Please bear with me as I explain myself. Everyone is looking for a successful business right now. We've talked about Zoom, Uber, financial services, marketing, and social media. But what about the traditional industries? To survive the next pandemic, they will need a backup or an innovation. Play your own game rather than trying to follow what everyone else is doing. Look for innovation in hit industries. This will give you a lot more leeway and less competition. This is how the next Amazon, Google, and Tesla will be created. When an industry dies, there are two options. 1. It will be extinct forever. 2. Entrepreneurs will be the ones to invent it. Rule number 5. Plan your moves in advance. Nowadays, many people do not set financial objectives because they are afraid they will not be able to achieve them. So, here's a question for you. How are you supposed to hit goals if you don't have any? Setting and achieving goals is a very rewarding and fulfilling experience. You're just hanging around with no actual purpose if you're not doing anything with money. So, what's the point of putting in so much effort? You need a purpose, and then you need some goals to get you started on the right track. Goals must be broken down into smaller targets, which are your next steps. If you're unsure about your next steps, consider the first and most logical step towards your goal, and take it right now. Planning your financial moves will also assist you in saving more money and combating free spending. You will discipline yourself by setting spending limits, and ideally, you will begin to earn more money over time. Rule number 6. People that tell you to stay away from debt don't know what they're talking about. Don't get me wrong, but there are various types of debt. I'm not referring to credit cards, student loans, or mortgages that you will be unable to repay. To use debt positively, you must understand what you're doing and be confident that you'll be able to repay it on time. I'm referring to business loans used to start or expand a business. This will take a long time, so don't expect it to be simple. I've heard far too many people talk about debt as if it were an evil monster from which you must flee. Credit cards are beneficial because they help to improve your credit score. If you ever want to buy a property, your credit score will be used to determine whether you're trustworthy enough. Furthermore, if used correctly, it will easily make you a large profit in the first few months. Just be cautious with it. If you make a mistake, you may live to regret it for the rest of your life. Debt is a lethal weapon, but you must know how to wield it. The negative consequences of improper debt management can land you in serious trouble. So be cautious when dealing with loans. Make sure you have a repayment plan in place, as well as a backup plan in case plan A fails. Rule number 7. What can't you see? There are some things we simply assume to be true. The key to proper strategic thinking is to constantly question everything and look for what you're missing, because that's what typically gets you. Examine the foundations of your beliefs and stop assuming you're always correct. Don't let your emotions get in the way of your success. Find the good in everything and be optimistic, but don't be a fool. Thanks for watching. Now, if you want to learn more about this space, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be updated whenever we upload new videos like this. See you in the next one.